And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 20th day of January 2021, and it is the day when Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States of America. His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, is in Western Kenya, and he is on a working tour of the region. We are keeping up with that. The swearing in of the Public Service Commission Vice Chair and Commissioners, that is also happening, and a brief from the government spokesperson, the Dr. Isaac Mwaura. So all those part of the stories that we're keeping up with, and also earlier conversations. Para-athletics, we know they have the trials next week at the Kenyatta University, and also a tribute to Bob Munro, who founded MISA and passed away yesterday. Right now, two conversations. We'll have to take this through with proper balance. Now, volleyball. We have a new format for volleyball, and this is at the national level. So, let us talk about what is now the Kenya Cup. And why change it from the normal league where the top teams in the placing then get into the playoffs? So we saw the exciting playoffs that we had at the end of last season, where you have the knockout format. Eventually it's a final, but right now it's a pool-phase competition with women's and men's teams all seeded together, and then eventually towards the end of the season by July, it's a knockout phase. Charles Nyaberi is the president of the Kenya Volleyball Federation, and you know, if you want to know his backstory, he led St. Patrick's 9 consecutive national team titles until Eastleigh High School broke the duck.
That's right. That's
very good. Now here he is, another stint at the helm of the Kenya Volleyball Federation. But let's talk about, you know, the change of format from what we have always known as the normal league, where it would be played. You'd go to Nyeri, play at Kamukunji for 2 days, and then have the Governor's Cup. Move to Elda Maravin, you have the Governor's Cup. Move to, say, Busia, and you have the Governor's Cup. So what's this change inspired by?
It's what actually there is. It's an enrichment of the current formats that we're using. First of all, we are now orientating ourselves, our action, more and more into indoor volleyball. We are minimizing outdoor. Of course, you know, we'll still have outdoor tournaments, especially in the branches out there, and we'll even have a few national ones. But we thought it twice to enrich our calendar with a unique tournament. So Volleyball Kenya Cup, and I'm using Volleyball Kenya Cup deliberately to give it a distinction from
the rugby
Kenya Cup.
From the rugby, the other one is the rugby Kenya Cup.
Yeah. This is an innovation that we started this year, basically to move away from the ties of club, and I'll explain, you know, the uniqueness. For one, it is also meant, while it will start in season, it's meant to be an activity to keep our players, our teams busy off season. It will go slightly, you know, the semis and finals. The climax of Kenya Cup will come in July. That is when our season will have ended. So that the Kenya Cup, the Volleyball Kenya Cup, together with our beach volleyball activities, will keep our players and teams busy during the off season. But it's also unique in the sense that the rules of Kenya Cup have been crafted in such a way that they can allow you to use maximum 2 professional players from any part of the world if you are able to bring them in. On top of that, we have a number of professional players, Kenyan professional players, overseas-based players, who have been kept out of our national league because of the rules that you cannot play in more than one FIVB league in one season. But Kenya Cup now gives them the opportunity to come home and play for their mother club. Like now, a champion club like GSU has about 5 professionals out there, and when the season there ends, they just come and sit around and become spectators. But now they can come in and join their home club. Also, any club that has the financial weight can enlist maximum 2 professional players. On top of that, what has happened is that we have opened it up for the teams in the league. Those ones that want to take a rest have been allowed to take a rest. But so far we have 10 men's teams and 7 ladies teams which have started. And the first matches, group matches, will be played on 5th of February.
Yes.
We'll play and then we'll take a break. 5th and 6th of February, that's the first group matches. Then 5th of March, the second group matches. Then the competition will take a break until July, when the semi-finals and finals will be played. The top 4 in each gender category will qualify for that. So this also gives us a chance to continuously observe some of our players, because we are now in the process, like I'll say later, of selecting our national teams. Principal among the selections is the selecting of the Malkia strikers, because we are having the World Cup. Kenya qualified, and they'll be going for the World Cup in Thailand in July.
Well, so taking a look at this competition and looking at how, for some of the clubs need to balance we know going to balance them after March. We know that between, I think, this coming weekend, we're going to have the 3rd Women's League. So yeah. I can see that Pipeline Prisons, can see the usual suspects are all coming in there, followed by the Men's League to also come through. So looking at it, how do you want to balance it between this National League and this new tournament? The
National League will continue unabated. In fact, we've already had 2 successful legs in Nyeri at Kamkunji grounds, which was like a precursor to the Governor's Cup, Governor Kaiga Cup. And then we had a second leg at Nyayo. And it's like it will be a jigsaw kind of punctuation. It will punctuate what they already is. It will not interfere with them. And the same teams, some of the teams in the league are also the same ones in Kenya Cup. So it's like enriching the season, giving it more activity and actually more variety.
Right. We'll be coming to something, and specifically just mark the Africa Club Championships, men and women, and then we'll also talk about the beach volleyball and the age grade competitions. Okay. Right now, let's move over to so let's continue now with our conversation on Sports Check, and it is all about volleyball in Kenya, the changes that are coming in, and how to do this. We are with the Kenya Volleyball Federation President Charles Nyaberi. And President, let me put this. A lot of activity before even, when touching on the Malkia strikers, is what would you like to build on? Because, they've qualified for the World Cup that's going to be played later in Thailand, because we saw where, they were in a very tough group in Paris.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
We saw but everyone saw just how much development can be done.
Yeah, what is happening is that we want to use every opportunity to give Malkia strikers as much high-level exposure as possible. And the best way, of course, is to compete against the best. We qualified last year before the Olympics. The team had qualified for the volleyball, this Challenger Cup, Volleyball Challenger Cup. It's a unique world championships, which involves the best 1 team from each continent. We had participated in the previous year in Paris. We didn't do very well. But this particular time in Philippines, just before the Olympics, our team went in, and from the 12 teams, it emerged 5th overall. That was a big leap forward. And what we want to do is that we want to systematically, slowly but surely, move our ranking internationally, especially at the world level. At continental level, Malkia strikers have no problem because they emerge tops during Africa Cup of Nations and all these other championships. But we realized that the competition out there is more fierce. So this time we'll be looking at, as much as we are targeting the World Championships in later this year, we are preparing. We have a 3-year plan to prepare for 2028 Los Angeles. We want the team to gain strength. We want the team to gain new players. We want the team to gain more fluency and more compatibility, more teamwork, and also a much more competitive edge, so that next time we appear on the international scene, we're not just going to be counted as participants. There are countries like Dominican Republic, which started at the same level as ours. They don't have as much resources as we do. So it's doable, and we are going for nothing short of qualifying and doing well in the ultimate crown, which is the Olympics, Los Angeles Olympics in 2028.
Let me talk about another national team, and this is the beach volleyball team.
Yeah.
Now the oddity is they must be in pairs. It's a sport which has got the concept of Siamese twins.
Yeah, that's
How
right.
do you intend to get them into the pro tour, whether it's organized by Africa or they were organized by FIVB, so that they can get more ranking points and get competitive to qualify for more bigger events?
Yeah, our target number one, in fact, in our National Executive Committee meeting yesterday, we decided unanimously that we've got to bid for one of the world tours. One world tour, one or two African tours, and one zone 5, 2 or 3 zone 5 tours. So that way we'll have people coming to us. But we'll also enter our teams. In fact, a few months ago, we sent both the men's national teams and the women's national beach volleyball teams to Bujumbura for another world tour that was in that place. We want our players, we want our pairs to pick as much quality points as possible, get a good ranking, so that even when you come to the Continental Cup, when you are highly seeded, then your route to the podium is made much easier. But at the same time also, you are able to gauge yourself against the rest of the world. Yeah.
Club volleyball.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. First of all, we've got the Africa Zone 5 Club Championships. That's for men and women. End of March, basically, let's just call it the first week of March.
Yeah.
And then this is going to be followed by the men's and women's championships up north. What's the way you would like to see, the clubs?
Yeah, we want to give as many of our clubs as much international exposure as possible. Last year, we had the inaugural Zone 5, Africa Zone 5 Club Championships in Kigali, and our Kenya Pipeline team emerged the winner. So they are going to Kampala as defending champions, but we have also opened the gate for other Kenyan clubs to go there, because there will be teams from the 12 countries of Zone 5. It's the biggest zone in Africa, and it has countries which are very highly rated, like Egypt, Rwanda, even Uganda, and these others, other countries. Out of the 12, we have at least 6, 7 that rank very highly at both continental and world level. So we are hoping that our club sponsors will let their teams go, and to facilitate, to make it easier for teams to go. Now, I also double up as the Secretary General of Africa Zone 5. The Zone 5 Executive Committee made it easier, made it more affordable by waiving that bit whereby you have to pay $60 per person per day for accommodation. They have allowed the teams to go in and look for cheaper accommodation, which means more teams now can be able, we are hoping that they can be able to go. But that will be followed very closely a few months later the African Club Championships, where our teams always participate and do very well. So it's a very, very, it's a very busy year. And our clubs from Kampala, they'll come back to the home scene for the National League, then prepare to go for the Africa Club Championships for both men and women. And then after that, the team, simultaneously, the Malkia Strikers will be training for the World Championships.
Very well. Now, finally, I mean, we have seen the under-20 and the under-16 age grade competition. CFDB has put them out. What's the plan and how do you want to work around with the schools? Because it's, I will say, it comes at an odd time. When you really need, when he really needs the under-20 players in their squad, see, Chairman, you will have to be sending them somewhere.
Yeah.
Especially balancing those dates because it's a June-July thing.
Yeah, we are trying very hard to see if the African calendar can be adjusted slightly to enable us to use the best we have in the schools, because that age group, under 20 and 18, you know, most of those ones are school-going children. There will be maybe one or two odd ones who will be out of school youth. So like last year, we couldn't engage players from Kwadanze and Kesogon, and these are the top schools. As you know, Kwadanze are actually the continental champions, you know, schools champions. But we're hoping that there'll be no clash. As much as we consoled ourselves that in the absence of these top schools, we were able to dig up and identify a new talent from the other schools. But it's always good for us that the national team has the very, very best in it. And you see, our dream and hope is that the junior team players can effectively transition and join the senior team. In fact, we have some players, like there's a young lady in Kwadanze called Terry. She was voted the most valuable player in the Karori Kipchumba tournament in Eldoret in December, and she's in Form 3. You know, so you can see there's very, very deep, the depth of talent in schools is just beyond explanation. So we want to make sure that we tap into that one and give them a chance to showcase their capacity. We are hoping that we can negotiate with the African body and the schools, East African body, so that we can synchronize and avoid the clash there was last year, which was unfortunate.
Thank you very much. And Charles Nyaberi, he's the president of the Kenya Volleyball Federation. Alika watu Nyayo. Tunalipa?
No, Nyayo is free. Nyayo is free. Entry is free, but we are considering levying something light for subsequent competitions. But Nyayo is free, and we are inviting, you know, all our fans, all our very loyal fans, to Nyayo this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Charles Nyaberi, president of the Kenya Volleyball Federation, for speaking to us.